Welcome into DC On Screen, the podcast that's been bringing you news and reviews of the Star Trek DC. I do a Star Trek show of the DC multiverse on film and television since 2015. I am your host, David C. Robertson. This is your other host, Jason Goss.
The Star Trek, whatever that was.
I do Star Trek Universe with
I forget what the name was.
In retrospect, we should have called this DC Universe because that's what the thing is called. That's what James Gunn's universe is called.
We didn't know at the time.
We didn't.
17 years ago when we started.
Yeah. I mean, I just came up with DC on the screen as a name on the fly. I was busy, turning a big crank, trying to start my car. And,
felt good at the moment.
Yeah.
I do like it. Do you have the correct notes? Do you have DC notes in front of you instead of notes on the card?
I do.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to double check.
This is amazing season 3, though. Picard was fantastic. All right, so let's get it going. Thanks be to our beloved patron saints. $5 patrons will note that there is a new segment in Patreon called Comic Castaways, a show where Jason and I use a random number generator to find obscure characters in the DC Comics encyclopedia and talk about them. So we've only done one episode. I think it's a lot of fun. We had a good time, I thought.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it.
And in that first episode, you get to find out how I kind of had an action figure for a character I'd never heard of.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're not interested in that, $1 a month gets you every episode ad-free. But of course, regardless of whether you choose to help us out with $1 or $5 a month, your support means the world and keeps the show a-going. Patreon.com/DC on screen. And a little more business before we jump into the news. Our free digital code giveaway for Batman, the Doom That Came to Gotham has ended. Arlo_L, I think you're the only person who hasn't checked in with us yet. We need a way to contact you so we can get you your code. Email us at dconscreen@gmail.com. I also want to announce that with the ending of that giveaway, we're starting a new giveaway. Mm-hmm. We have 9 digital codes for Shazam! Fury of the Gods. All you have to do to enter is to leave us a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts or share our show on social media with the hashtag FuryDCOS. That's FuryDCOS. If we have more than 9 people enter, we'll use a random number generator to decide who gets them. So
we're going to wear out that generator.
I know, man. I like the random number generator. That's how I decide what to eat for lunch.
Mm-hmm. They're useful.
So let's talk about this Flash trailer. We got 2 new trailers. Kind of. Like we
have 2.25 or 1.25 trailers.
Right. I mean, we got like the US trailer. Mm-hmm. But there was also a Japanese trailer that had some like random funny bits in there. I liked both trailers.
Yeah, I was a fan either way.
As far as I could tell, like the US trailer is way more somber. Because, like, I'll be damned, the Japanese trailer just, like, they have, like, Barry about to, like, slow motion, I'm gonna run really fast, and then, like, a bunch of girls see him, and they're like, oh my god, the Flash, I love you! And him just reacting really awkwardly.
Which feels right.
It does feel right.
I don't feel like this version of Flash would do well with fame.
No. Although I do a little bit miss the, I could not have helped myself. I would have had to stuck something in there where the Flash is hitting on women and being like, I'm the fastest man alive. Mm-hmm. Like in Justice League, the show, the cartoon.
Yeah. I don't remember that, but I'm willing to believe it existed there.
Oh, it's great. It's like that version is Wally, but he's telling these really bored girls at a diner some story, and he's like, do you know why? And they're like, because you're the fastest man alive. Mm-hmm. He's got like a plate stacked full of hamburgers.
That sounds right. It's never going to top the Luthor thing where he pulls the mask off and I don't know who this is.
Yeah.
Best joke in the Justice League animated universe to me.
Oh, I will disagree with you.
Was it the Wonder Woman thing?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
The other really good one was when Batman's like speaking effusively of Wonder Woman. He's like, she's behind me, isn't she?
Oh, right now. My thoughts were of one, the runner-up for me is with an episode, I think what is that stupid guy who was part of the New Gods canon and came to Earth banished and became a talk show host?
Oh,
do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. He's one of the people that always like, he's like on the Desaad level.
Yeah.
I
But
forget.
in Justice League, in the cartoon, they turned him into a Glenn Beck type.
Yeah.
And he's got the Flash goes, he's like shit talking the Justice League, and Flash goes down there to like give him a piece of his mind, and he's like, how do you how do you explain, Flash? It's just the Justice League took over. 50% of marriages end in divorce, and the other 50 end in death. And Flash just doesn't know what the hell to say to that. And the crowd is like, yeah! I love that bit. But my favorite bit is just the entire scene where they go to interrogate the trickster in the bar. And Batman and Orion are like grabbing him and wanting to be a dick. And Flash is like, dude, y'all chill out. Okay. You're off your meds again, aren't you? Hey, Flash, I don't need them anymore. That's not how they work.
I remember that.
You finish your beer and go back to the asylum, all right? All right. Got me again, Flash. Anyway.
Can see Batman thinking, if only it was that easy for my guys.
No, I don't think it's... And Hamill is doing the trickster there as well.
Of course.
And he's got this great bit right before they show up where he's like, they don't listen to anything I say. Stupid Captain Boomerang, Captain Cold. It's probably because I'm not a captain.
Yeah.
Anyway, these Flash trailers. What do you think, man? How are you feeling?
Oh, they look fantastic.
Don't they?
Either one. I mean, there's plenty of speculation to be had, but about like what parts of the universe are we keeping, leaving, all that. Mm-hmm. But just some of these shots are gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the storyline because the Japanese trailer indicates like you have the two Barrys talking to each other, and he talks about how he went back in time to save the mother, and then went back to to his present, and there's another version of him there. So do those two wind up going to an alternate reality that's the Burtonverse?
See, I don't know.
Or is the changed version of the Snyderverse the Burtonverse? Or
Well, I don't know if it's changed or if we kind of jumped to it and like maybe like what I'm going to call Yellowberry for now is like was maybe always in Burton's verse. We're just popping over to it for a second. I don't know if it's just substantially changed it or not, but it's hard to say.
Yeah. And then the other trailers have said that, he created a universe without metahumans. I don't know. I'm just very interested to see what exactly they're doing here.
See, I don't know either. Because like, if you created a universe without metahumans, maybe that's why the Kryptonians are running like rampant here. Mm-hmm. But also,
or the Kryptonians.
Yeah, sorry. What did I say?
Metahumans.
Yeah, they're definitely not. No, like if that's why we have Kryptonians and no one's there to stop them until Supergirl shows up. Like, did you really create something with no metahumans or? Yeah, because in DC that almost doesn't matter as much. Like in Marvel, that's like a whole storyline, like specifically a whole storyline. But with DC though, you've got so many aliens to choose from and magical creatures. You don't have to have meta powers. Not like specifically that. You're not, beholden to the mutant thing. Inexplicably
God level vigilantes with no powers.
I mean, like you can have not a single special person on the entire Earth, but Green Lantern can still show up. Like it doesn't.
Right.
He ain't special. Just got a cool piece of jewelry.
Right. So yeah, I'm very down. I loved seeing, I think it was Feora. It was one of the Kryptonians jumping on the Batwing and smashing the cockpit,
That's
just like they
actually,
did.
when I was saying
And
cool shots, that's the one that I keep thinking of the most, is like that little, like pull himself out of the way of his own bat plane as it falls. It's just like, it's just majestic. It's gorgeous.
well, I mean, one of the things I loved about it is that shot is from Man of Steel. Like that Kryptonian did that in Man of Steel to a fighter jet.
Yeah.
So I just really love that. I love that they did that.
Certain events are going to happen one way or the other here.
Yeah, I love you have, Ben Affleck's Batman telling, Barry, you change the events of the past, you change the events of the future. What like idiot?
Why was this not clear to you? Like, Barry, you're a smart kid. What happened? What?
I really loved all of the stuff with Keaton's Batman, like the bruised fingers. Like I saw some people saying that they think that is Martha Kent and she's the Joker because it looked like she had like red and green on her fingers, but I'm pretty sure that's just Keaton. I saw some other people thinking that it was Michelle Pfeiffer that was Catwoman.
I'll take any of the above that you just said. All of them sound like that'll be a lot of fun.
I'll take any of them.
Yeah.
And of course we saw all those, like the bat suits, and we talked about those because there was a TV spot where it showed all those some time ago, a couple months ago. I'm very, very intrigued though. I really want to know what's going on in this movie.
I know it's a small thing, but like I kind of just hope there's a nod to Barry still having like his lab job, maybe even doing okay at it. I know this is stupid, but I really, really love the moment where like him and his dad, credit version, are like, you mean like a job, like, and like the whole, the rest of the prisoners there are like, my boy's got a job, he's got his foot in the door. Like, it's so fucking cute.
Yeah,
I just wouldn't mind a little nod because I like that scene.
Yeah, that was in Zack Snyder's Justice League, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that made it to every version of Justice League, but it's been a while since I've seen the other one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I almost felt like we should do it sometime just for fun, but
yeah. Do you have anything else to say about the trailers? I loved, the whole parachute thing. Where's yours?
He just smirks at him, bounces.
Yeah. And I love the Batwing flies up and silhouettes against the moon, just like in the 1989's Batman, as he's like rushing down.
Yeah. All good shots there.
Dope. That was great.
Kind of looking forward to whatever, like, I don't know, I don't know what this is, but it has like a cosmic treadmill feel to it. All the lightning running through everybody. I don't know what that'll end up being, but again, like really gorgeous shots. And like, I'm excited to see where they actually land.
Well, there's one shot of Barry shirtless laying on like a slab and the electricity. Then there's a different shot of like a bunch of lightning and the lightning going through, as you put Yellow Barry. But then there's a third different situation where Barry is in the Flash suit without mask, and he's being it looks like he's being tortured with like this like purple lightning.
Yeah. And I don't know what the relationship is going to be between the Flashes here. I mean, you got Yellow Barry is the one that's nobody dies. Mm-hmm. If I had to bet anything, it's that his parents are still alive, and Red Barry's going to say that no, we do have to let that nature take its course, and he's going to fight him on that, and we're going to have a whole thing that way.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that feels like predictable about what I'm looking at right here.
And if he fights him on that, that might turn him into the Black Flash that we're seeing all over the place with the toys and stuff, that we talked about months ago.
Yeah, but in the Flash lore, him having the yellow hoodie means so much, right? Like,
yeah,
because without those toys, I would have thought like, yeah, we're gonna have like a reverse Flash situation going on here. But yeah, with the toys out, that does change things a little bit, which is also that one's a mild one, but that's why like I don't walk down toy aisles right about this time.
I'm sorry, man.
Like
oh, I'm sorry.
It's just, I wish I could just go in a little cube. I've got muted right now on Twitter, and I have to go back and do it again because it's like 30 days, I think. Right now I'm muted on Twitter. I have the word The Flash, several versions of Flash. I even have I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it worked. I'm pretty sure I tried to actually like mute the lightning emoji.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah. And meanwhile, I'm on Twitter, like typing Flash spoilers. I know you bastards saw it on CinemaCon. What are we looking at?
What's happening? What are we in for?
Yeah. So, by the way, at CinemaCon, the version of the Flash they showed was an unfinished cut. It was a work in progress, not the final cut, but close enough. But apparently, it didn't have any after credit sequences. No stingers, and it actually didn't even have the end credits. And Andy Muschietti, someone asked Andy Muschietti in an interview, like, how does the Flash impact the future DC universe going forward? And he was like, well, as you know, the version at CinemaCon was unfinished, so you haven't seen everything. But let's wait until ask me again after it actually comes out.
Yeah.
By the way, and I'm aware of this, I want the listeners to be aware, Andy and Barbara did do a whole list of cameos that are not in the Flash. And I read it, and I said, there's no way I'm talking about this on DC on Screen. I am not reading this list of people who are not in it. So just the fact that there was a list of people, I mean, yeah, we've had what?
I've seen
many iterations of shit.
I've seen a ton of rumors about who is, and then recently I've seen little headlines about who isn't.
Yeah,
it's hard to I'm say.
Not naming names on any of this.
Yeah,
there are going to be characters who do not show up. You can't avoid it. They only have so much time.
Yeah,
I am not talking about who is or isn't.
I'll provide one spoiler right now. Captain Atom will not be appearing.
Yeah,
in the Flash.
Captain Atom.
Neither will Detective Chimp.
I would actually be really happy if
all
Detective
you Bobo
Chimp
fans
showed
are
up.
super disappointed.
I would be really happy if Detective Chimp showed up.
I'd be happy if Detective Chimp showed up fucking anywhere.
And in case anyone's wondering, I know that there are some people out there. In a new interview with the Playlist, Michael Shannon, who played General Zod in Man of Steel and is reprising the role in The Flash, Michael Shannon said, I was hesitant to come back because I wasn't really happy about what happened to Zack Snyder in that whole deal. And I really love Zack. The fact that Zack asked me to play that part to begin with, that's probably the biggest surprise of my career. It almost felt like a practical joke. I was like, you're kidding me, right? But I talked to Andy about it, and I liked Andy. And I said, Andy, look, I just want to get Zack's blessing on this because it just doesn't feel right without that. And Zack, to his credit, was very understanding. He gave me his blessing, and I went to do it. I loved Andy, too. I loved working with Andy. They're both super creative guys. Andy's an amazing artist. He would just make these drawings when I was sitting there talking to him. I'd look over and say, hey, can I keep that? And he'd say, sure, and sign it and give it to me. I included that part because I was just watching or very recently, a few days ago, watching the Russo Brothers podcast with Zack Snyder, Pizza Film School. Mm-hmm. And Zack Snyder was talking about how he went to school for painting. He was a painter. And he had made short films and done all this stuff, but then he went to school for painting, and they wound up kind of pulling him aside and being like, these are very cinematic. That you have a history in film. Why aren't you doing that? And he's like, oh, that could be fun.
No, you're right. I'll give it a go.
And as we know, Zack draws everything before he shoots it.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of those sketches, and yeah, some of them are pretty it's like rudimentary for what you would normally see as a what do you call the fucking things now? Storyboard or something.
Yeah.
But I love watching storyboard versions though, because their version of oh yeah, that basically gets across the concept. Is that would have taken me a week. I would have worn out an eraser.
Yeah, they usually take the storyboards and put them on Blu-rays and DVDs as animatics.
Yeah, which even that level of just being able to generate good drawings that quickly is amazing to me. I love these people that can actually just quickly draw. I've seen that before, especially with Futurama stuff. I'm just going to quickly draw Fry real quick. I'm like, that would that was like a sketch. You just didn't give a shit. That was you were fucking around. I'm just gonna do the exact same thing, but just slightly to the left, so he's moving like that. That would have taken me weeks to get it just slightly to the left. It's like when you watch Jim Lee, like casually, like using the wrong hand. It feels like sometimes even just to show off. Yeah, I'm gonna do this with left-handed. It's gonna be perfect. Yeah. You could basically use it as the cover for the next Arkham game. It's fine, no big deal though. I'm just gonna slip in coffee the whole time. Yes, talking.
Oh man! So apparently there was some Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom CinemaCon footage, and comicbook.com had an exclusive description that says footage plays seeing Arthur raising a baby and talking to his father about it. In the full Aquaman suit, he fights underwater. He wrestles with giant anchors. He can feel the tides shifting. A dark entity is destroying the surface world and attacking humans. It has long black tendrils. On Earth, a black plague is attacking people in town squares. Black Manta is trying to push it forward. Arthur talks to Orm and has to team up with him. Orm refuses to be called brother. Together, still, they fight Manta. Manta has the black trident with a power that comes from a great evil. The lighthouse home is destroyed. Manta wreaks havoc. Arthur and Orm explore land and knock down statues to build bridges. They are reluctant in their work together. Nicole Kidman is back and involved directly in the action scenes. Ultimately, Orm encourages Arthur to lead. Mera is shown momentarily. Armies are going to war!
We had a piece with Mera we couldn't cut out. For story purposes.
Yeah. I'll be honest, none of that sounds remotely interesting to me, but I'll watch it when it comes out. I always hope for the best.
I mean, it feels true to core for like a lot of the general Aquaman stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's gonna be a very familiar setting.
Yeah. And Men's Health is actually reporting they did an interview with Momoa, and they're saying that like Momoa and his writing partner had turned in a 50-page treatment for the sequel, and they're saying that Warner Brothers bought it, but apparently mostly dismissed it. And they didn't say like how much of the treatment was used, or whether or not Jason Momoa and his partner will still get credit. But Momoa was talking to the magazine, and he said, "The reason why I love directing and creating, I don't want to just go like, I'm acting, I'll be in my trailer. I love being able to burn for what I believe in. I've seen some of the most shocking acting performances firsthand and watched them edited, and they were amazing. I wish I could tell you who it was. I'm like, what the fuck? I watched this guy who had to be fucking propped up. They read the lines to him, but this motherfucker killed it when the edit came in and was applauded for it. At that point, I'm like, wow, this shit is made in the edit."
Okay, now you are curious, right?
Yeah.
Who was the guy just phoning it in and the editor saved his ass?
I'm like, what? Who was he talking about? We don't know that he was talking about Aquaman.
No, I mean, we don't know that it's any part of his career necessarily. It's just like, who got fed 3 tablespoons of heroin? And then later...
What?
And then later, what's my line? What's fine? Okay, and then like turns it on for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get him on that though.
Yep.
I wonder though with the treatment though, it cracks me up. Can you see him like with Momoa sitting there turning it in like, what do you think? And then the guys across the table like whispering to each other, how much would it cost us to buy this real quick and make him feel better? About $25,000. All right, cut the check. It's fine. Man, this is great, Jason. I appreciate you. This is we're gonna digest this day. We're gonna really take this in. I'm taking it home. I'm taking a copy home tonight. Good. Gloria, make me 3 copies. I want the family to read them too. You don't mind, do you, Jason? Okay, thank you. All right.
The other part of the other side of that though is like that old bit from The Critic, where he like writes a script for Ghost Catchers 3 or something, and they love it, and he's like, so when does it go into production? And he's like, oh no, this is too good to go into production. What do you mean? Come over here. And he like from the floor, this like glass case comes up full of scripts. And he was like, these are the best scripts ever written. You can't just make these into movies. When you make these into movies, the bar is raised far too high. So he's like, he starts like naming off all these great movies, and then he's like, that never got made, and then he says, Revenge of the Nerds 5. Oh, what are you doing in there? And he pulls it out and he goes, you need to go into production next week.
Yeah, that feels right.
No. Alrighty, on to some James Gunn news. James revealed what drew him to direct Superman Legacy. He said, I completely relate to Superman because he is everything I am. He's somebody who is an outsider who feels like an alien, but also the ultimate insider because he's fucking Superman. And that's kind of like what I feel like. I don't know how to feel about that.
No, that's just weirdly phrased. I feel like that's a weirdly phrased version of James Gunn has imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Which I get, because if I were in his position, I would just constantly be looking around like, who's gonna pull the cord? Who's gonna tell me that I can't do this? Because like somebody's got to, right?
Yeah, yeah. But if read in a certain light, it sounds like he's just calling himself Superman.
I know.
In an
I'm an outsider. Never felt like I was supported, and yet here I am, masterful at my art, king of all, untouchable. Yesterday, I took a piss in Zaslav's seat.
What is your obsession with that?
I don't know. I mentioned it to you earlier, and it cracked me up again to do it now.
I thought maybe you said it on the cast. We were just talking about like. Because Gunn keeps saying that he answers to no one.
Well, my example then was like, yeah, I mean, he answers to no one creatively, but like if he pissed on Zaslav's desk, he's getting fired.
Yes. I wasn't sure where you said it, but I was like, good Lord, this again?
Yeah. It's the image I have now.
In an interview with Variety.
Are you done, James?
Oh my God.
Are you done, James? Get the fuck out of my office.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to talk about this next bit of news.
Go for it.
I have been trying to.
We'll get there, don't worry.
In an interview with Variety on the red carpet for Guardians Volume 3, Gunn was asked about the search for a new Superman actor. Gunn says it's hard, but we're looking. And we actually have some really great choices, which I'm excited about. But it has to be somebody who has all of the humanity that Superman has. But he's also an alien. He's got to be somebody who has the kindness and the compassion that Superman has. And it has to be somebody that you want to give a hug.
I mean, after the last bit, I kept expecting.
I know. I kept scrolling to see if he said it was him.
And it has to look a little like me. You know,
spiky hair, big black glasses. You know.
Yeah.
That's right. I'll be playing Superman. And my wife will be playing Lois Lane. Just with a dark wig.
Are you going to dye your hair for the part? No, I'm perfect as is.
Yeah.
His hair should always have been this color.
You know what's funny, I think, is if there's a part of me that if I ever got to make a Superman anything, I would have like a storyline where like I would make Lois a redhead just like she was in the old George Reeves show.
Oh, Lord. I forgot about that.
And of course she was in Zack Snyder's Man of Steel.
Yeah.
So in that trilogy. So yeah, I'd make her a redhead, but I'd make her realize that his first love, Lana, was a redhead as well, and be like really suspicious that he's a great guy, but he's totally got a ginger fetish, and I'm not okay with it. Like suddenly they're all very worried
to see if he's still interested. And like, no, he's not interested anymore. It's
maybe she's suspect of like how good of buddies are you with Jimmy? Because he's a redhead.
Just very fond of him. That's all.
He's a good lad.
Just very fond. Why do we gotta ask questions? Shit. Goddamn. Can a man live his life? Shit. I'm gonna fly away over there for a little while. Jesus.
But it's all secretly because of his guilt over having caused Lex's baldness, because Lex was a redhead back in the day. He was a redhead,
yeah. For one hot second. One very hot second, if I remember the lab accident.
Someone asked James Gunn on Twitter, will we see more Vigilante? Gunn said yes.
Okay.
I'm down. I like the character.
There's going to be another Peacemaker. Of course we're going to have more Vigilante.
Yeah. Want to get your thoughts on this? I don't normally talk about actors bringing up people they want to play. Mm-hmm. But Karen Gillan
I'm way ahead
said she wants to play Poison Ivy.
I mean, I'm... How do I put this? Anything she wants to do, I will watch it.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
But
she did say, honestly,
specifically that sounds fine.
She said, if James asked me to play an alien that sits in the background of a shot and does not talk, I would say yes. Because working with him has been one of the greatest joys of my career so far. But yeah. I mean, Barbara Gordon, yes. Poison Ivy, yes. I'll take it.
Well, while we're going straight redheads here, just Batwoman would do.
But Batwoman is a fake redhead. Batwoman has
the
wig.
Yeah, but fake redhead by design doesn't have to be fake.
Oh wait, in the comics, didn't wasn't she a redhead, but she had short, a buzz cut or something, and then she just put on the wig to be Batwoman?
See, I don't know. I thought I remembered her in the comics having regular blonde hair, but then she was suddenly redhead.
Oh,
it's been a while though since I've seen any kind of OG Batwoman.
I mean, they can do whatever the hell they want, but Karen, I'd love to see her as Oracle. Love to see her as Poison Ivy. Just thinking about her, her characterization of Nebula, I think she could play a fantastic Ivy.
I really do. I think she'd have a lot of fun with it.
And if that's the one she wants to play more, yeah, fine, do it.
Set it up. I mean, you got to find a Batman in that universe first, depending on where we fall with the Flash. But
yeah, but I think Brave and the Bold, from what I understand, is doing from what they've said, is going to be sweeping Bat Family movie. So
that does sound right. I mean, that would, something actually I wanted to ask you a minute ago, but same thing here. Anything that's Brave and the Bold should have a very sweeping team up feel to it. I feel like that was the spirit of the whole thing. I thought originally,
yeah,
and definitely the animated series. The whole point was look at all these, it's literally in the title, in the title sequence is all those names in the background of some whole cloth even.
Yeah, I mean that was the comics for years. That's every issue is Batman teams up with somebody else.
Yeah, and then even then, early episodes of the animated show, especially, you'll have a little 3-minute mini adventure, and then and then we go into the real episodes. Mm-hmm. It started getting a little heavier as far as no, we got real stories to tell. Mm-hmm. And abandoned a little bit of that up front, but it was still. And then after a while, they start using the up front to really start tell stories like Starro.
Yeah, they do a whole set up a whole season ender, a whole arc.
Just in those little teasers promos. Yeah.
Yep.
Which was great. Great show if you haven't seen it.
Fantastic. Brave and the Bold.
On HBO Max, while it's still called that. I'm sure it'll be on Max when it's rebranded. But something I meant to ask you earlier about Aquaman. If I have any expectations for the movie, it's that it's going to be very pretty. Would you not be surprised if it wasn't just gorgeous?
Yeah, I expect it to be gorgeous.
If I have just one thing that I'm absolutely sure I'm going to walk away thinking is even if I walk away I don't know about that, but it was gorgeous, is at least what I'll say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I wish Aquaman had come out in my early 20s and the I just tried weed for the first time kind of days. That would have been an experience.
Yeah, that would have been neat.
Yeah. Oh well.
But I had the original Star Trek and the old '66 Batman for that back then. So.
We did. Hey. We actually did do a fair amount of watching Planet Earth.
All right.
On TV screens that took 2 men to move.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't around for that. That shit's boring. I don't want educational things.
Depends on state of mind.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, I wanted to get your take on this as well. There was a tweet on Thursday. Bruce Campbell retweeted a fan asking DC Studios to contact him for a Kingdom Come project with the image of the Kingdom Come Superman attached. And Bruce retweeted it and said, DMing my number. So apparently Bruce Campbell's interested in playing Kingdom Come Superman. What do you think? You think you should do it?
Oh, I'd watch the shit out of that.
I would too.
And it never occurred to me. We were talking about it the other day, but as a live action version of this, if they actually do It's not Gods and Monsters. What's the freaking Creature Commandos? If they did like
Yeah.
Frankenstein, oh please,
Oh, please what?
please let Bruce do Frankenstein. That sounds fantastic.
No. They've already got David Harbour.
I know. I don't mean voice. I mean like if you did like a live action version.
Oh, I mean, they will do a live action version, but they'll do it with David Harbour.
Yeah, they probably will too. It's not that. I hate that David Harbour came along and took that because he's not bad either.
No, he's not bad.
Damn,
He's
just
really,
as soon as you mentioned that, I saw him as Frankenstein. Now I'm into it.
You know what I keep thinking for Bruce, though? Jonah Hex.
Oh, he would make a great Jonah Hex. Back in his younger days, he would have been a fun Booster Gold.
Back in his younger days, he would have been a fun lots of things.
Yeah, I know.
Like, there's a version where I would love to see his Superman. Like young Superman. Like Army of Darkness days.
Yeah. The original?
He could have been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The third. The
Oh.
third movie.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I know. I could dig that.
Like 93?
I could dig that too.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Captain Adam, he'd be a good one there too.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell had that chin. I'm sad that they wasted that by not having the technology or the ability to make good superhero movies at the time.
I mean, I keep thinking about how like brash and just fucking arrogant and obnoxious he can be when he wants to be. So, like, Guy Gardner would be fun.
Oh, God, that would be fantastic.
And it would look really good with that one punch knockout.
Uh-huh.
Right on that
right.
glorious chin.
You're right. Damn it. All right,
But I'd hate to see him with a bowl cut.
I mean, if we don't make him a ginger, we can forego the bowl cut too, right?
I say this as someone who has sported a bowl cut in their lifetime. I think we should all avoid, if at all possible, the bowl cut.
Fair enough.
Just give him a short fade, man. Call it. That'll do.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to end out the movie news on the Zack Snyder Full Circle event Q&A. They are posting those live streams on Vero.com, or sorry, Vero.co. But I'm going to put up a link in the show notes so that you guys can check it out because they're doing live stream Q&As after Man of Steel, then after BVS, and then after Zack Snyder's Justice League. And just for anyone who's interested, because I'm going to watch them.
Yeah, me too. I'm envious. The clips I've seen of Snyder over there are just delightful.
Yeah, they only have the one up. They only have the one up for Man of Steel so far as of this recording, but I did see a clip of him talking about how he knew when he knew Swanwick was the Martian Manhunter was after BVS, but it was inspired by what's his name? God, I can't remember his name now.
I thought you were going to say Swanson.
No, the guy that played Swanwick. Like, everyone jumped back when Superman walks up to the glass in Man of Steel, except for him. Everyone jumped but him. He moved closer towards the glass. And that was just a choice for the actor. That was the actor's choice, and he did that. And looking back on that, after BVS, Zack was like, no, he's Martian.
I have a really cool explanation for this.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah,
I forget that guy's name right now too.
Yeah, I hate that I forget.
I thought it was something
things
like Warwick, but it's going to kill me until we look it up later.
Warwick.
I don't know. I can neither reach my phone or my keypad right this second.
Harry Lennox. God.
I do. Yeah. I always thought that sounded like such a musical name.
Harry Lennox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
Like it's the kind of name where like if he had been like a classic jazz artist or something, like he was like, man, no one tromboned like fucking Harry Lennox. I'd be like, yeah, that fucking tracks. Dude probably spent like 4 years in New Orleans owning that town. It was great.
Now I want to like make you like a tape cassette cover or something. That's like him with a trombone or something.
Yeah.
It says Harry Lennox.
Yeah.
You know.
And it'll be just him, the instrument on a dark background with like a little bit of a oil paint effect to it, you know.
Yeah.
A la
absolutely.
Kind of Blue or something.
Yeah. Don't be surprised if I make up a fake album cover of that someday.
Yeah. one of the songs
Specifically
is
for you.
when the Saints come marching in. His cover of it has to be.
Yeah. Oh God.
Do they come marching in or go marching in? I don't fucking remember.
Yeah.
Guess they have to come in.
All right. Well, we're gonna go out for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna hit a break, and then when we come back, we got a little bit of TV news, a little bit of feedback. So, don't nobody go nowhere. We are back, and a while back we got the news that Batman Caped Crusader was actually had gotten bought by Prime Video. And we did get confirmation this week from Prime Video that they are doing 2 seasons at least of Batman Caped Crusader from Ed Brubaker and J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves. And we know Mark Bernard is going to be working on it. So they're at least getting Bruce Timm. We're getting 2 seasons of that. They also announced the acquisition of the animated holiday film Merry Little Batman and its spin-off series Bat Family.
Interesting.
And what that is, Merry Little Batman is a lighter take on Batman. It follows a younger version of Damian Wayne who has adventures alone in Wayne Manor on Christmas Eve. Naturally, he dubs himself Little Batman to protect his home of Gotham from various supervillains trying to ruin the holidays. In Bat Family, the adventures of the young hero continue with his entire ensemble along for the ride. I don't know how that's going to be, but I'll probably look at it. I'll probably check it out.
Yeah, I'll probably take a look. It sounds cute. It sounds like the kind of thing that I'll end up watching with my kid.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, I wish you could just borrow one of those sometimes just for the excuse of like, no, I was just watching with my kid. And it was pretty good.
I mean, I don't need a kid to watch it.
I mean, that's the other major point is like, we're adults and who gives a fuck.
Right.
But you'd be amazed how many things you run across where you're like, I'll be damned. That's okay. I would not have known about Bluey.
Yeah.
I say that, but that has such a following at this point that there's a chance I would still have known about and be watching Bluey.
I mean, yeah. But then, I don't know anything about Bluey except for what you tell me. But I am an adult who is relatively well versed in the adventures of Apple and Onion.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic, and I recommend to anyone. I won't even say, if you have a kid. I'll say, especially if you're an adult who doesn't have a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is Richard Iowati. It is delightful.
I tried to get... sounds bad. There was I think it's called a lithograph effect, where like on the vinyl, it's anything. When it turns, it makes motion.
Mm-hmm.
But I think so. There's a record store day version of like the second Bluey vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife was in Dallas. I was in Birmingham, and between us, we could not find that it was sold out, gone. Like,
yeah.
After we found out it was sold out, I ordered the Amazon Prime regular version. The basic bitch version, because I wasn't special enough to be able to get there in time. And it was supposed to be like Prime Video, and they're like, yeah, it'll be there in June. Or Prime shipping or whatever. Like,
yeah.
We got
Good
you.
Lord.
I just need about a month.
Good Lord.
You said 2 days. Yeah, I need about a month. Okay. My daughter doesn't even know it's coming. I don't care. It's fine.
Yeah. So we were remiss. Andre Sparks reminded us that we didn't talk about Oliver Queen doing the final Arrowverse crossover on The Flash this past week.
You're right.
We didn't talk about that. We forgot.
You're all right. Part of the forgetting is like...
I'm just kidding.
I'm not currently watching anything on CW. I haven't been for a few years now, frankly. It's one of those, like, no offense, but I just haven't found the time. I was excited to see he was coming back, and I will bet the house on this that was probably a very emotional scene, because I have seen the hug. I've seen little clips of the hug, and I'll bet it was amazing.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I don't know.
Just buckets of tears on set, I'm sure.
On set, yeah.
I mean, if I was still watching like I used to, I'd probably choked up about just the whole thing in general.
If I were still watching like I used to, I'd be like crying buckets of tears of boredom.
But that was a little bit of why I couldn't get back at the time.
I know.
Honest to God,
when
most
you only
of my
have
problems,
a little bit of time, you just don't want to
I know. Well, here's the problem though that happened eventually is like I got on a spiritual level exhausted with the fucking CW app.
Yeah.
I could not. Like I don't watch cable. I don't actually have cable. I can't be in a certain place long enough to watch anything at a certain time. That's just not how my life works anymore. So I have to use the apps and stream whatever. And the CW app is the most loathsome creature in the history of streaming. It's fucking awful.
I don't know that it's the worst, but it's pretty bad.
In my experience, it is. I just, if there's another one that's out there that is worse, I'm curious.
CW Seed.
That was better because at least there were no commercials. But the problem with the CW app that I had above all is the commercials. And it's not so much that you couldn't skip them because like, okay, you're a free app. So I get that you have to make some money. It's that you couldn't skip them and it was the same goddamn fucking 3 commercials every time.
Or the same commercial like 10 times.
Like
over and over and over and over.
I think I've said this. I'm sure I've said this before. That app made me want to start smoking in spite of those fucking commercials. Like
what killed me, one of the things that really bugged me was like the episode you were watching would end and they just transfer you over to CW Seed.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you're like, what am I watching? Why is there like a 90s cheerleading show on? I don't understand. What about me watching Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash, and Batwoman made you think I wanted to watch a cheerleading show set in the 90s?
Honestly, it was because it was one of the best shows they had on that app, and that one of the leads is in iZombie.
Oh.
I know that part of it. It genuinely, like, yeah, I lost a little bit of interest at a certain time. Like, the show quality drooped for a second. Just in certain areas.
Crashed and burned?
I don't know if it got better or not, so I won't even judge. I'll abstain for the moment. But I do know it drooped for the moment. And then there was also like for me it was like 2020. I was like at home with the kid, didn't have time to watch anything other than Sesame Street. So I had like some personal delays. And then the CW app was so frustrating I just couldn't do it anymore. And this is what I kept saying is like if you just give me a paid version of this fucking app, I would give you $5 a month. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But the other major issue they had with keeping me was like, yeah, you could watch and this is where I'll finally watch them is on Netflix. Like, yeah, you can watch them, but you have to wait until 8 days after the season finale.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even stay in touch with the news to keep excited about things because then I would have spoilers. So just altogether, the formula was that there was no mechanism like by which I could stay engaged with that product after a while.
Yeah. And I just got burnt out on bad TV. I just got burnt out on bad TV. Like I hate to say it. The last thing I enjoyed from the CWDC stuff was Legends of Tomorrow, and they killed it on a cliffhanger.
I was still enjoying Legends, and I'm sure it died on a cliffhanger. Of course it did.
It's still worth watching. Still fantastic, but oh my god. And I will finish The Flash. Definitely.
I'll finish all of it eventually. I just need some time.
Superman and Lois should be on the top of your list, though.
I tried to go back for that. Did make it through a lot of it and still had the same fucking issue, though, as far as, like, I don't have time to watch these commercials.
Oh, I think it's all on Max now.
I know. It transferred a little bit. Now we're now we're at more of an issue of getting back to things.
Well, season 2 isn't on Max yet, but the first season is all on Max.
It does crack me up that they're like, no, this is a different tier of television show. This should go here instead.
Yeah, no. I mean... well, I think...
Because there's one guy that's like, no, just throw it on Netflix like the rest. No, sir. No. Have you actually watched it? No. Well, this needs to be on our platform.
Well, also, one of the reasons it's so good is Max, like, fit a bunch of the bill for it. Like, they helped produce it.
Oh, I know. That's how they got all the actual cinematic quality to it.
But Jesus God, Superman and Lois is just fantastic.
That is the last thing I've really watched. And yes, it was great.
It has not stopped being great.
I don't doubt it. Don't doubt it a bit.
Yeah, I can't recommend it enough. I mean, one of the main bad guys in season 2 is basically just like the lady who was running Nexium with Keith Raniere. Like, they made her look just like this woman. I can't remember her name, Nancy something.
I don't remember either.
But and that was the cult that Allison Mack from Smallville was in.
Yeah.
So they were just like, oh, Allison Mack did some weird shit. How about we look at, what was she doing? Okay, well, how about we just turn this cult into a bad guy?
I mean, no, it really was like, oh, she wasn't the first in command. Who was the first in command? Oh, there was another lady. Oh, okay. We can work with that.
Well, she was the second in command. She didn't really know what. Supposedly, she didn't really know exactly what Keith was doing. Like she didn't know about the branding and all that shit.
No, they all suppose it afterwards. But yeah.
Well, she only got 3 years for like racketeering. She didn't get the life sentence that Raniere got.
No. I never know with cults. Like when somebody says like, I didn't know later, you're like, well, I mean, it's a cult. You're supposed to not know things. So,
well, Nancy's daughter came in and got in on the cult and wound up getting with Raniere, and she was the one with Raniere with Allison Mack and Raniere who started the branding cult. I can't remember what they called it now. It's gone out of my head, but
yeah, it's been a while since I've explored
the master. Oh, DOS, the master slave thing, where
there was like an inner circle of an inner circle thing, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, it was like a secret society within the cult, which wasn't even really a cult so much as, you know, it was weird. It was weird. There's a great
if you're ever like in a cult, the worst thing you could possibly hear is, we've decided that we trust you. Would you like to hear about the other? We want to talk to you about this other level. Right. Your life is about to go to a whole new level of fucked when you hear those words.
Uh-huh. Like when they start asking for like collateral, you know, like, okay, well, before we tell you anything about it, I got to have a bunch of naked pictures of you and or video of you saying horrible things about your family. Mm-hmm. And if you ever tell anybody about this, we're going to release it. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, it's time for me to leave. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just remembered I left the oven on in Nebraska. Mm-hmm.
I left the oven on in Nebraska in 1994. When I left college. Go Hoosiers. I'm going to head back out. Mm-hmm. Check that oven. Y'all have a good day.
We got just a little bit of feedback. Dr. Steve on Patreon. Dr. Steve of Weird Medicine, by the way. If you haven't checked Weird Medicine out, go check that out. Dr. Steve says the Flash trailer exceeded my expectations by a mile. All of a sudden, I am so effing pumped for this movie. Us too, Steve.
Absolutely.
Us too. We need to have Steve back on. Mm-hmm. We always say that.
Yeah.
And Larry Carter on Twitter says, beautiful runtime on the latest episode. 36 minutes is awesome. Sorry we didn't get to that short this time. And to be clear, I listen no matter the length. Your show is very important to me to be able to synthesize all of the DC info. Everyone has a slightly different take, and you guys help give me a full picture. That might be some of the best feedback we've ever gotten.
It is. It makes me feel special. And and the imposter syndrome thing that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. That's right. I am Superman.
Yeah. He must have just gotten us confused with another podcast when he was writing that up, but I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, that does it, man. I don't have anything else.
No. Let's get out of it.
Do you have anything?
No. Pretty clean on my side.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. We will try our damnedest to be back next week. And, patreon.com/DC on Screen. We're on Twitter at DC on Screen, Instagram at DC on Screen. You can email us dconscreen@gmail.com. Every episode's at dconscreen.com. I don't know. Until next time, keep some DC on your screen. Our intro music is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Galactic Engineers of Magnetic Sounds, or GEMS, can be found on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Visit DCOnScreen.com to find our Patreon, merch, contact information, and every episode of the show for free, including crossovers we've done with other podcasts. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. For more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, vlogs, parodies, and our improvised web series Hey Guy, visit maladjusted.tv.